Okay, let's get out of the terrestrial environment and head down to the shore. There's a transition environment between terrestrial and marine where there is the marsh areas and deltas. So the marine delta environments are going to occur at the mouths of rivers. Other places along the coastline, maybe there would be a barrier island system or sea cliffs, but we're going to focus in on the mouth of a river. So a river comes down the mountain to the shoreline. It's going to drop its sediment when it hits still water. Those sediments that are in the delta of the river, depending on the currents along the beach, can be moved around a bit and made into different shapes of islands. Okay, so if you break down the shape of the delta, you're going to have these beds that drape the coastline. The beach face then is going to mostly have sand, and here's that same picture we looked before from the ripples. So the sand will have ripple marks. Waves are going to be moving the sand, pulling fine-grained sediment out to sea. So the muddier environments are going to be in deeper water, but right at the beach with the crashing waves, we're looking at mostly quartz sands. The composition of the sand can be different though. Maybe you've heard of the black sand beaches of Hawaii where what's eroding is basalt, so what's depositing is sand that is made up of basalt. So it's a variety of sand compositions, but the southeastern United States, it's mostly quartz. Once you get down to Florida, the sand towards the southern part of Florida is all going to be calcium carbonate and shell fragments. Okay. In the shallow marine environment, then, we have fine-grained sands. So this is a shale. That's the muddy sediment that when it turns into rock, it will break into sheets. Siltstones are a little bit grittier, and those can be found off the shore. This is also the environment where there's going to be a lot of fossils. So mollusks, gastropods are like snails, and worms all like this environment. So there are lots of fossils in the offshore shallow marine environment. Okay, so this image is, we have a calcite-rich sand. That's going to be the sand that comes from broken pieces of the reef. It's usually going to be corals. There'll be offshore, there'll be calcite mud, so like it's called an ooze. It'll be a carbonate ooze that will be feel kind of slick, and that's going to be just offshore on these muddy calcites. And then you'll get to the reef environment. Those are hard structures, and they'll be behind and in front of the beach of the reef will be marine sediments that are broken up off the reef. Most of it is actually parrotfish poop. Parrotfish gnaw at the algae in the reef structure, living with the corals, and then they poop out the calcium carbonate. So lots of that in the marine environment. Sediments are going to be deposited often in basins, and the Grand Basin is the ocean environment. And those basins are going to have a record at the shorelines of sea level rise and sea level fall. So this image is just showing that sediments are in a basin and they are going to move with the changes in sea level. So maybe on the left here, sea level may be rising, but here on the right, sea level would be falling, and the sedimentary environments that are moving out